Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the number one mind in network marketing, the MLM prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Hey, this is Dale Calvert. I'd like to welcome you to session 139 of the MLMsuccess.com podcast. I appreciate you being here. The title of this session is Refine Your Skills. Refine your skills. You know, I think about early in my career, I heard a quote. I don't remember who said it. I wish I did. But they said, I never see failure as failure, only as a chance to refine my skills. I never see failure as failure. You know, I believe most people see failure as failure. You know, they go in the marketplace, they talk too much. They're trying to convince people to buy, sell, or join. People don't. And they let that really affect them in a very negative way to the point where they ultimately just quit trying. They quit having the intensity that they once may have had. You know, that's what we talk about a lot. When you first get started in the company, you got to understand your pendulum's going to swing in the beginning. It's going to go back and forth in your mind. One day you're going to feel great. The next day you're not going to feel so good. And it's all about working towards the 4 beliefs that we've talked about many times. You have to have 4 distinct beliefs that you're working towards developing at all time in this profession. And that is in the company, the product or service you market, the potential of building a network marketing team, the network marketing profession, and then more importantly, and the most important, belief in yourself. Those are the 4 beliefs that must be developed. And when you go in the marketplace with not a lot of conviction, kind of mealy-mouthing around, not real focused and excited about what you're doing and the value that your product or service can provide, or the enjoyment that your product or service can give to your potential customer, there's going to be resistance. And the only way to work through that, around that, is developing your beliefs and then really thinking about refining your skill set. And I hope you'll remember this quote. I never see failure as failure, only as a chance to refine my skills. You know, after your initial launch, where you launch your business and you get 50 no's as quickly as you possibly can, and you have to get 50 no's within a 90-day period, that's people that have actually seen your play one and said, no, I don't have an interest in checking it out. And it's no problem if you're going to do this business, who'd be the first person you talk to, who'd be the second. Who do you know right now that is a prime prospect for my product? You don't say prime prospect for my product. You say, who do you know right now that's getting ready to join Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig if you market a weight loss product? Again, I'm not going to try to redo all that. We've talked about that many, many times on this podcast and in our webinars and articles over at MLMhelp.com. But I will tell you that after your initial launch, and again, it's my belief that 95% of the people that are network marketing distributors in today's marketplace have never been taught how to effectively get their business launched. Their mindsets around what they're really doing when they're launching a business has never been defined. People, think that I'm supposed to go out and try to convince people to buy, sell, or join, and it's absolutely the opposite. And again, we've got 15 hours of free training on that over at MLMhelp.com. It's if you do a search for memory jogger, it'll come up. And we have 15 hours of training just on launching your business, getting it launched right, the correct mindsets, what you're really trying to do. It's never about you convincing somebody to buy, sell, or join. It's not about who you know. It's about who do they know. And again, I don't want to repeat everything that I feel like I've been talking about for years. I've got something more that I want to talk about that I really haven't talked about until today. But other than getting your business launched, the most important skill set that you can learn is how to master customer acquisition. And anybody listening to this podcast, if they decide to, and again, can learn how to master customer acquisition. I was talking with a consulting client 3 weeks ago, and she said, Dale, at any time that I choose to, she said, I can go into the marketplace and within a week I can have 10 new buyers. And she understands. She said, I said 10 new buyers, Dale, not 10 new customers, because I understand what you teach. If they buy one time, they're a suspect. If they buy 2 times, they're a prospect. If they buy 3 times, then they're a real customer. She said, but I can go and then within 1 week, I can add 10 customers. She said, but I've been doing this 6 years. And I said, that makes sense because your belief in your product is there, and you have refined your skill sets. And she said, exactly. And she said, what I don't understand is, she said, I have people on my team that they'll go 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. They're at every event. They're on every conference call. They're on every webinar. They love the company. They love the products, but they haven't added 1 customer in months. Why is that? And that's what she wanted me to help her solidify in her mind. So as a leader, she could make sure that she was doing everything within her power to get her people into a consistent routine. And that's not an easy thing to accomplish, but and we will never accomplish it at the level that we hope to, but just to be able to help some people get into a consistent rhythm and routine with the business makes a huge compounding effect over your organization over 5, 6, 10, 12-year period. And she understood that. So I loved it because she's taking responsibility. She's not saying, well, I just have a bunch of duds and nobody wants to work and they're all, spending all their time watching cat videos on YouTube and hanging out on my conference calls, but nobody's taking any action. She was she was coming from the standpoint of what can I do to get better? And of course, it all goes back to reasons, which she was doing, and we had to refine some things for the leader, for this lady, the leader. So again, I understand on this podcast, I have people that have been around, a month in this profession. I have people been around over 30 years and everybody in between listening. So the challenge when you're doing any type of podcast like this in an industry that's been around, as long as the network marketing profession has, is how do we get through and how do we make a difference for everybody that's listening? So that's what I want to attempt to do. And the thing that I would tell you is you've got right now at the time of this recording, you've got about 90 days until December 1st. 90 days. The next 90 days statistically in this profession have been awesome times. September, October, November are 3 of the best months throughout history in this profession. And there's many reasons for that. Kids back in school, people getting more focused. They're thinking about what have I really accomplished this year? What do I want to accomplish next year? I've got Christmas. How am I going to pay for Christmas? There's multiple reasons that this time of the year does extremely well for both recruiting new team members and customer acquisition. historically, again, it's been the best. And there's people all over the country, all over the world, leaders today in this profession that had their breakthrough during this period of the year. I've watched it happen for many, many years. They have their breakthrough, and a lot of times breakthroughs for people getting to a new level in their business, a new understanding, a new commitment, a new work ethic happens many times in September, October, or November. And what I want to talk about is what kind of focus and consistent activity does it really take? I mean, some of you, think about it. You want to make $250,000 a year, not have a boss, get up every morning and have all the freedom in the world. And you have, a lot of you have big dreams and things that you want to accomplish, but you're not refining your skills. You're not consistently working towards getting better at what you ultimately you say your career is going to be. Come on, guys. We got to get real. This ain't the lottery. There ain't no foo-foo dust. It's not the lottery. Yes, you can do it, but you know what? There's probably going to be some skill sets and mindsets that you've not quite refined yet and developed that you're going to have to develop. So you can continue to make excuses, or you can get serious. And again, I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to be real with what it's going to take. You know, I'm not one of these people that, you know, high five you and call you a rock star as long as you stay on my monthly training program and buy every product that I put in front of you. I'm not going to stroke your ego just to get your business. In fact, I'm going to do just the opposite. We try to run as many people off as we possibly can because we want the right people. We need a lot of the right people in this profession that understand it and get it and will tell people the truth. So what does it really take? You know, one of the things I've learned over the years is outside emotions shouldn't move us. Outside emotions shouldn't move us, but they do. As human beings, they just do. They just do. That's why companies will see a little burst in production and volume after a national conference. Because, you know, you spend a weekend anywhere, there's going to be some emotions created that will create movement, create action. I remember Zig Ziglar said, you know, a lot of people spend their whole life waiting for somebody to come and fire them up, get them fired up. And he said, what if they don't show up? What if they don't show up? So learning to move ourselves emotionally based upon our personal vision of where we're going, the documented facts around our company, product, or service, the documented facts, and having a very value focus where you care about other people, a very value focused mindset on what your opportunity, product, and service can mean for them, and then a commitment to your personal reasons for doing the business, your top 3, top 20, is where all the emotion should come from. It should not come from outside sources. It should come internally from ourselves. And I would ask you, typically now, where does your energy, where does your emotion for doing the business, where does it come from? And I think in the beginning of our careers, I know for me and for most of the people that I've seen and worked with, it comes from outside forces. Outside. We go to the event, we attend a webinar, whatever, outside sources. And the one thing that I want to really make very clear in this podcast is you have to work towards true motivation from within. True motivation from within. Again, learning to move ourselves emotionally with our personal vision, documented facts around our company, product, or service, having a very value-focused attitude. You can have anything in life you want if you do what? Help enough other people get what they want. It's a law, guys. It's a law. And most of us are too concerned about getting ours. I got to get mine, instead of understanding, especially in this profession, your long-term income is in direct proportion to the number of leaders that you develop on your team. It's based upon the number of people that you really make an impact for and really can share wisdom and truth that will help them move their life and their business forward. So it's coming from a very value-focused, emotional mindset. And then, of course, focusing daily on your why. I've said it many times. There's no doubt I wouldn't be doing this podcast if when I started years and years ago, if I hadn't thought about every single day, getting out of IBM, driving a brand new car one day, and taking my family to Hawaii. If it wasn't for that, that would not have ever happened. Your top 3 reasons has to be your primary focus, along with the value your product or service can provide to other people and your business opportunity, as well as your overall vision of your life and your legacy and your path. Personal focus. When you have personal focus, not external motivation, but personal focus equals consistent business activity. Personal focus equals consistent business building activity, and consistent business building activity will always create positive results. Again, Einstein told us, doing the same, the definition of ignorance is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So, after your initial launch, new customer acquisition, the ability to go into the marketplace and create new first-time users of your product or service on demand, anytime you choose, is a very important skill set to master, not just to learn or piddle around with, but to master. And I really believe anyone can do it. Let me ask you a question. If you had to create 10 new customers over the next 30 days, you had to, could you do it? And if you say, well, no, Dale, not yet. Okay. How long have you been around? How long have you been in your company? How long have you been in your industry? And if you tell me been in the network marketing industry, direct sales industry, how long have you been around? And if you say, well, Dale, I've been around 5 years. If you tell me 2 years, Dale, I've been in this industry 2 years, and after 2 years in this industry, you're telling me that if you had to, that you could not go into the marketplace and create 10 first-time buyers over the next 30 days? You couldn't do that. When are you going to refine your skills and your actions and your activities to the point where you can do that? When are you going to? What are you waiting for? Well, Dale, I want to make $250,000 a year and quit my job and do. See, we aren't talking about visions of grandeur here. We're talking about we got to get down where the rubber hits the road. What is it really going to take? So again, if you had to create 10 new first-time buyers over the next 30 days, could you do it? And somebody say, Dale, I can. A lot of you listening can say, Dale, I can. I have. I will. A lot of you that listen to this podcast can say, yes, I've got my skill sets refined and my mindsets and my activities to that point. I can do it. And some of you are thinking, Dale, I've been around 7 years. I haven't got 10 customers. Whose fault is that? Who has to get better? Does your company have to offer a better product? Does your upline have to provide you better training? Does your sponsor have to help you more? Whose responsibility is that? And again, guys, I'm not, I know I'm not listening to this guy no more. That's fine. I expect that every podcast I do. I hope for that. Because if I don't create that, then I'm not doing my job. You know, I heard a preacher one time, he said, we got to make people nervous in the service. You know, and I believe and hopefully that you understand where I'm coming from. Look, we have people all over the world listen to this podcast. I have no financial interest in you moving forward in your business. It'd be much easier for me to just, hey, rock stars, how you doing today? Y'all keep rolling, you know, and just give you a bunch of fluff and BS, but I am not capable of doing that. Say, well, Dale, I don't think I could, there's no way I could have 10 brand new first time buyers in the next 30 days. I would ask you, what if it was a life or death situation? Dale, it's not life or death. I know it's not, but what if it were? Could you? Could you? Could you if you had to? If it was a life or death situation, maybe not for you, but for someone in your life that you love very much, and say, well, Dale, you shouldn't get so dramatic with this. I'm just trying to help you see a little bit different. Think about this a little bit different, because I can't, never could. You have to believe what's possible, and you have to understand that you need to refine your skill sets, your activities, your mindsets to the point where you can control it. You can go in the market and create 10 new first-time buyers anytime in any 30-day period that you choose to. And if you had to, what would you do? What would you do if you had to create 30 new or 10 new first-time buyers over the next 30 days? What would be the first thing that you would do? What would be the first thing you would do? What would be the second thing? What would be the second thing you would do? I'll give you a second. What would be the third thing that you would do? What would be the three things that you would do if you had to, life or death, create 10 first-time buyers in the next 30 days? And then my question is, why don't you just do that? See what it does for your attitude, your energy, your vision, your emotion. Why not just do that? Because most people get in this profession and they get in these ruts, these same self-delusional, I got a business card, I'm on every conference call, therefore I'm a business owner and I'm building my dream with No, you know, it's not. Activity, it takes a tremendous amount of activity, focus, determination, and exposures to get and just let it go. You know, we worry way too much about what somebody else thinks, about what they might say, and they aren't paying your electric bill. And see, the reason people worry so much about what other people think is because they don't have enough belief in what they're doing. I'll say that again. This is important. The reason people worry so much about what somebody else thinks is because they don't have enough belief about what they're doing. They don't have enough belief in the opportunity and the product or service that they're marketing, the company, the product or service, the validity and unbelievable potential of the network, of building a network marketing team, or they don't have belief in themselves. So to their own self be true. Let me ask you a question. If your company said, look, we're going to pay you $50 this week, just this week, the next 7 days, we're going to pay you $50 for every brochure you personally handed to someone. How many could you hand out? See, handing out brochures is simple. You just get a button, and then you go to where there's a crowd. You make eye contact. I've got a whole video on this on YouTube. Y'all have seen it. It's, you know, you make eye contact. You say, hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. This brochure will tell you all about it. My contact information's on the back. Hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. You hand the brochure, and you can do that all day, every day, everywhere you go, if you chose to. If you chose to. Why haven't you chosen to? That's why people end up hanging around for 6, 8, 12 months and not enrolling not acquiring one new sale, because they're in a social club environment that accepts mediocrity. because there's leaders in this company. Their only goal is to keep you on auto ship one more month. And again, I know this is not maybe easy for people to hear, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Now, what if your company said, look, for the next 7 days, every person that you personally text or call or talk with, and asked a couple of questions, and whatever those questions are, when you're in the marketplace now, if you run across somebody and they seem sharp and that they seem like they're thinking clearly, you think I'm being funny. I'm not being funny. It's reality in today's world. I mean, when people are somewhat normal, especially in the service industry, it's like it gets your attention just because they can communicate and look somebody in the eye. And we all run across some tremendous underemployed people, but regardless, and the question could be, have you heard of XYZ product yet? Have you heard of, it could be your company name yet? Whatever your upline teaches you in a 3-foot rule scenario. And then your ultimate goal is to get them to your play one, right? To watch your first play one. So have you ever heard of the XYZ yet? Would it be okay if I text you a 3-minute online video? Or would it be okay if I text you a video? And the company said, look, over the next week, for every person over the next 7 days that you can watch our video, it doesn't matter if they buy, it doesn't matter if they join. All they have to do is sign off, yes, I watched the video, and Dale, this guy is the one that got me to watch the initial video. And for every video you can have watched, we're going to pay you $50 per video. And if people really understood what I just said, most companies would be writing checks to team members for probably around $50,000, because the results don't count. You're going to get paid regardless. There's probably not very many network marketing distributors, team members in any company that listens to this that couldn't get a check for $50,000 in the next week based upon the criteria I've shared with you. That's getting 1,000 people to watch the video. I mean, if that was reality and that's the way that's the promotion your company was doing for a week, there wouldn't be a lot of people sleeping. There wouldn't be a lot of people complaining because their upline won't help them. Okay, they would just be in the market getting that video, that play one, in front of as many people on a daily basis, hour by hour, as they possibly could. And here's what and again, I know this is like pie in the sky, wow, but here's my point. Most 27%ers at some point in their network marketing career have this kind of massive action, I don't care what anybody thinks, breakthrough at some point in their career. While everybody else is just, my upline's not, they're putting their big toe in the water expecting to learn how to swim. They're too afraid to jump in the pool and go for it. And every 27%er, at some point, something happens where they get to this breakthrough, where they just say, you know what, the law of average is going to work for me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. X number of people contacted equals my reasons fulfilled, and I'm getting through the numbers. I'm going to expose as many people as I can on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I'm not going to be weird about it. I'm just going to ask very thought-provoking questions, and then I'm going to ask a very simple question. Would it be okay if I text you a video? I'm going to make it simple, easy, smooth, and I'm going for it. It's not going to be weird. It's not going to be uncomfortable. Conversations are not required to build this business. I did a whole podcast about that. But the breakthrough is the thing I want you to think of, the breakthrough, because I've seen it happen. I remember specifically exactly when it happened for me. I drove to Columbus, Ohio to see the great Jim Rohn. And he did his 3 basic laws talk live. And I'd heard the audio of that at least 100 times. But something happened that day, and I saw it live, and it clicked. Something just clicked. I got it. The law of average is going to work for me. It works for everybody because it's a law. The law is the law. And if I expose enough people, then I'm going to get everything that I want. I don't need to hope that this is going to work or pray that this is going to work. I just need to get through the numbers and let the law of averages work for me. The law of averages is just like the law of gravity. If we all jump up on my roof here, we all climb up to the roof and we all jump off, guess what? All of us are going to go down. You know, we don't have somebody in Norway that, because they're listening in Norway or they're from Norway, they're going to magically float up in the air. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter what country you live in. Nothing matters. If you climb to the top of the roof and jump off, you're going to go down. It's called the law of gravity. It works. It just is. And the law of averages is if you get in front of enough people, you're going to develop ratios. And if you you may have 1 out of 10 buy your product the first time. You may have 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. The more you do it, the better your ratios are going to be. But the bottom line is, for you to get from where you are to where you want to go, you're going to have to communicate with X number of people. I don't know what your number is. You don't know what your number is, but the law of averages dictates that you have a number. You have a number. So expanding your comfort zone. I'm going to change directions a little bit here because this is important. What I've tried to establish up to this point is, guys, you could get through so many more numbers than you are if you chose to. It's your choice. That most people are trying to accomplish as much as they possibly can, doing as little as they possibly can. You've got to put time into business building activities, into activities that will create customers. You know, listening to your upline on a conference call doesn't create any customers. It just doesn't. It's putting time into business building activities. And I see 2 distinct groups in network marketing. We'll talk about both of them, and I hope I can speak to both of you, and then I'm going to let you go. But the first group is they're just simply not getting through enough people. They're not talking to enough people. They're not they're not getting enough brochures in the marketplace. They're not asking enough intelligent questions. They're just they're not doing any type of advertising. They're just kind of hanging out. And I believe that expanding your comfort zone to the point where you do not delay, and create value-focused communication at will, anytime you choose to, is one of the most valuable skill sets a network marketer can develop. I'm going to say that again. Expanding your comfort zone to the point where you do not delay and create value-focused communication at will is one of the most important skill sets a network marketer can develop. When I say do not delay, see, a lot of you listen to me over the last month. You've ran into people wherever, just when you're out and about doing life, and you have normal conversations, and you thought about asking them, have you ever heard of XYZ product? would it be okay if I send you a 3-minute video or whatever? You've thought about it, but you delayed. And then, you were thinking about it, and should I say it, and what should I say? See, if you're thinking, what should I say, you got to get past that. It's the same daggone thing every time. It's monotonous. Would you like fries with that? You better get your verbiage, your scripts down. How long you been in this profession? And you're worrying about what should I say? Come on. It's the same thing over and over. Quit complicating it. And then what happens is, you just about got the nerve to say something, and then their phone rings and they get on a conversation with their husband, and you're at the soccer game, and then they come back and they end up having to leave, and the opportunity passes. How many times have similar things like that happened to you over the last 2, 5, 10, however long you've been in this industry? That 5-second delay has just prevented you from taking action. Guys, now's the time to stop that. I'm going to share with you how to do it here in a second. But I'm being real. Everybody that's listening, that's been around this profession any time at all, has heard this. So it's real easy. You know what you're going to say. You need to figure that out and just be calm, be value focused, be ready to listen, and communicate with people. It's that simple. Now, write this down. There's a video you can find on YouTube. It's by a lady named Mel Robbins, and it's called the 5-second rule. It's not very long. It's one of the most powerful concepts that I have seen in the last 18 months. I think it's phenomenal, and it talks about that little hesitation is what keeps so many people from breaking through. And when you can remove that hesitation, it's not that you're not going to have the feeling for a second or two, but when that feeling comes, you immediately break through it. Again, expanding your comfort zone to the point where you do not delay and create value-focused communication at will, anytime you choose, is one of the most valuable skill sets a business person can develop. And over time, it's going to create a brand new brain cell and skill set within your comfort zone. It'll become within your comfort zone where you can go into the marketplace and on demand within a very short period of time have enough quality conversations that you want to have 10 new people try your product or service. And again, I'm not a whole lot about, I'm not a big 3-foot rule guy. I'm just a numbers guy. Get through the numbers and do it again from a very value focused standpoint. Value focus, I think, is the key. And the reason a lot of people are concerned about what somebody else is thinking is because they don't believe enough in what they're doing. If you really believe in your product, service, opportunity, really believe it, and the value it could provide for the person you're communicating with, it's much easier to communicate with that person. Now, some of you are thinking, Dale, I talk to everybody every day already. I don't never delay. I'm after it. Every day I'm out there doing it. And there's a lot of people in the network marketing profession like that. And I call them bull in China closet distributors. They bull in China closet. They're just full bore every day, all day. Everybody they talk to, it's just boom, 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 boom. It's machine gun approach. And see, I think there's challenges there as well. So there's a lot of yin and yangs in this profession. A lot of people are talking to everybody every single day, and with very little communication involved. Did you hear what I just said? they're talking to a lot of people every day with very little communication involved. And then you have people that, that 5-second delay is just killing them. It's just wiping them out. It's preventing them from ever having their breakthrough. So we have the bull in china closet, and we have the people that are stifled by the 5-second delay. I want to talk to the bull in china closet for a second. Here's what, and see, you say, Dale, I'm out there every day, man. I'm hustling. I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm making it happen. And I would say, congratulations, sincerely, good for you. Good for you. But I talk to almost as many people that come from that standpoint as I do people that, they need to develop more belief in what they're doing. And there's a lot of people say, Dale, I'm talking to so many people, but I'm just not getting much going on. Here's the concept you need to think about. Change. Okay, the answer is always in the mirror. The answer is always in the mirror, not in your upline's mirror, in your mirror. Change from a talk to and tell mentality. I talk to a lot of people. I tell them about the product every day. Change from a talk to and tell mentality to a ask questions, have calm communication, and a value-focused flow. That's worth writing down. If you're a bull in china closet and you talk to a lot of people every day and you know it, this is worth writing down and really thinking about. You need to change from a talk to and tell mentality to a ask questions. Don't talk to, ask questions. And a calm communication with people from a very value-focused flow. That's the simplest way I could try to communicate what I'm trying to communicate. Because if you'll go through the same number of people and instead of telling, start asking questions, and when their interest peaks, have a very calm, value-focused flow to your conversation, you'll have as many people as you want to go take a look at the play one that you're offering. Okay, but if you're talking, you gotta learn to say less to more people. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we could listen twice as much as we talk. That's what real communication is. And then it's just a simple follow-up. What'd you like best about the video you saw online? Or 81% of the population take vitamins. Do you? And then get them to your play too if it's a business prospect. And after that, it's what questions do we need to answer for you before we get you started? It's the same monotonous things, guys, over and over and over. And people don't like monotonous. They like the search for foo-foo dust, the search for the magic phrase, the magic gimmick, the hack that everybody else knows that I haven't figured out yet, because there's got to be some lottery ticket hiding in here somewhere. And it's not. It's just smart, value-focused communication with a lot of people and doing it consistently over time. It will create success. You, right now, can make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Say, well, Dale, I don't have my flow down yet. Well, how long should it take you to learn, 7 or 8 sentences that you'll be using over and over and over every day? How long should it take you to learn? Hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. This brochure will tell you all about it. My contact information's on the back. Have a good day. How long should it take to really learn? And see, here's the thing, here's where we're at as a society. We have access to so much information that we're not mastering the fundamentals, especially in the network marketing profession, because everybody's promising foo-foo dust. And it ain't the mastering. It's not about the next foo-foo dust. It's not about the next hot sizzling product that everybody's going to get rich with. It's about mastering the fundamentals. It's shocking to me how many people have been around this industry 10, 15 years and have never mastered the fundamentals. It blows my mind. And who have spent tens of thousands of dollars on foo-foo dust solutions. So you've got to get through the numbers. You can make up in numbers what you lack in skill, and it's hard to become skilled if you never become consistent. I want to say that again. I've never said that before. It's hard to become skilled if you never become consistent. It's like if you want to learn how to play the piano, you can sit down once a week for 6 hours, or you can do 30 minutes a day consistently. 30 minutes a day consistently over a few days, 4 days, 5 days a week, and you're going to get much better than if you have just one burst of 6 hours, of practice after a national convention and you're so fired up you just got to play the piano. Y'all know what I'm saying there, I hope. So what I wanted to really hopefully remind you guys, those of you that the delay has really prevented you from ever having your breakthrough, I want you to really think about this because it's time to get past it. Again, expanding your comfort zone to the point where you do not delay and create value-focused communication at will is one of the most important skill sets that you can develop. And some of you right now, it's time over the next 90 days, this time of the year, September, October, November, to get in the marketplace with numbers like you've never done before with the focus of refining your skill sets. Go check out that Mel Robbins video on YouTube. It's called, again, the 5-second rule. It'll make a difference for you. It will sincerely make a difference for you. As human beings, we want to accomplish as much as we possibly can with as little possible work and growth as possible, and that will not work long term in anything, and it will not work at any time for any period of time with the network marketing business model. We've got the greatest opportunity in the history of the world. We've got an opportunity, I think about this and it just kind of blows my mind. I think about, 20-year-old kid Dale, 20-year-old Dale put $300 he didn't have, invested $300 in this business model with a determination to learn it, to really learn it. And I was smart enough and young enough to understand that I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I couldn't do it with the skill sets and mindsets that I entered the industry with, and that I was going to have to learn new ones, and I was going to have to learn new skill sets, new mindsets, and refine them to the very best of my ability to maximize the time, energy, and effort that I could put into the business. And invested $300 and never put another penny of my money in the business. It was all profits from that point forward. And, worked my tail off. But finally, over a period of time, and watching what happened. And I think about, Dale, you've earned millions and millions of dollars building teams. You've helped people all over the world create 6-figure incomes, leave their job. The ripple effect now, because you're hearing from their grandkids, and it's like this is an unbelievable opportunity that you have in front of you. Don't treat it like some nickel and dime business, because if you do, that's all you will ever have. You've got to understand what you have your hands on. It's a tremendous business model. It's been diluted over the last 10, 15, 20 years to the point where, if you just hang out with me, I'll call you a rock star, even if you haven't talked to your mama yet. Just hang out. I'll call you a rock star. I'll stroke your ego. And see, if you're in that kind of environment, you really probably should consider Is that the environment that you want to stay in? Do you need to get in an environment that will challenge you to grow, learn, develop, become all you can be, and refine your skill sets? My hope is over the next 90 days, some of you made the decision, Dale, I'm going to get through more numbers. I'm going to do it with value focus. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to refine my skill sets over the next 90 days. That's my goal, is to get really, really refined in what I'm doing, because I want to be able to go out and at will, at any time, add 10 new first-time buyers for our product or service. I want my skill sets and mindsets to get to that level. And I understand that if I'm willing to consistently practice the right things and refine my skill sets, then I can develop that mentality and that skill set as well. I believe you can. I hope you do. Thanks for being with me. This is Dale Calvert. We'll talk to you next week on another session of the MLM Success.com podcast. Have a great week, guys.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.